right, good morning, chat. Hello, hello, hello. Kumar, good morning. All right, let me just get set up here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, couple of things on Stock Analysis Friday. I've got a few, of course, the administrational items to go through. But in any case, the purpose of Stock Analysis Friday really is for me to look up stocks or ETFs. So I don't do cryptos. I will cover BTC because it is popular in terms of a chart, what I think is going on with that. But I cover ETFs and stocks here, no futures, etc. Now, if you're interested in futures and you want to day trade that, we probably are going to start a YouTube channel this summer, maybe August, I'm thinking, for day trading actual futures market like the NQ and so forth. All right, back to this. So the key thing with Stock Analysis Friday is type in your stocks in caps. Do no more than 3 at a time. Hey, and let me know if you're long, short, thinking about something. That way I can kind of tailor the analysis specifically to your needs, okay? All right, so welcome everybody. Tomorrow, you know, we've got, and I'll cover this again, but we have the workshop tomorrow. You're all invited for that, and that is on YouTube as well, all right? So I'm trying to think of anything else. I think that's about it. So let me jump in here. I'm going to go full screen on this. All right, Ed, good morning to you as well. All right, so let me just go ahead and truck through some of the stuff we got to go through, like the presentation disclaimer. All right, so there's risks in trading. We can't guarantee anything. Past performance doesn't guarantee future performance. I think you know the drill by now. You need to trade or invest only with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. And also check with your financial advisor or money manager, whoever handles your finances, before actually taking any trades recommended here. You know, I don't know your personal situation, so some of these trades may or may not be suitable for you. So you're going to have to check and make your own decision on that and take responsibility for the outcome. All right, let's see what else. I think that pretty much is it, okay? If you need help with risk control, I've got tons of books out there. Just go to our website, okay? I put the link up in the beginning. It's www.traderscoach.com. Just go there. At the button, you know, there's something under education, I think. There's books there. You can access our Amazon site for that. And we also have Discord, okay, and so forth. And you can get on our emailing list, the whole 9 yards, the usual. All right, and also, too, we have software. If you're interested in this, go to our website, and it's under software. And we have videos on how it all works, but we have charting software, we have scanners, and risk control software as well. All right, give us a like here, okay? It helps the channel. And if you're interested in a market forecast, we don't cover forecasts today. What we do is just look up your stocks. But in terms of a forecast for the NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow, if you want that, we have the MOR report. It also includes a weekly list of stock picks as well. All right, tomorrow, okay, we start, we're going to have the Saturday Trading Education Workshop that we start for this month. And it is at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's here on YouTube. All right, so you just come back here. We'll be live here, and we record these sessions as well. And you'll have to come tomorrow to see what topic we're going to cover. All right. And whoops, I went a little too fast on that one. If I can get it back. I don't know if I can get it back. All right. Anyway, that is what I mainly wanted to cover with you guys today. And I'm going to just start out with silver here. Anybody in silver right now? Anybody in silver? Going once, going twice. All right. So a lot of people got into it, you know, during this stage here. And this is exactly what I kind of was thinking would happen. We get a correction, which we usually do. And so we did get that correction. And it is kind of ranging now. But I want to point out a couple things. One is we have a bullish PTF. Now, if you're new here, that PTF indicator has a 75% probability, which is darn good for the markets. So basically that's saying eventually we'll have new highs on silver. So it makes us realize that this correction is only a correction in the dominant uptrend. I think that's important to realize. So that's a good thing. All right, we also have it on the weekly chart. By the way, this is the weekly chart over here, daily chart over here. So we like to use both time frames to kind of get a good picture of what's going on. So the next question you're going to want to know is, well, Ben, should I be buying this now? And you're in the fib retracement zone. We don't have a turnaround yet, but here's what I'm telling people. If you are a long-term investor, and you've been waiting to add silver to your portfolio, you can certainly start trickling in now at these prices. Because I think 6 months to a year from now, you're going to be really happy at these prices. Now, it may go down a little further. So, in the next maybe couple of weeks, you may not be happy. All right. So you got to look at it that way. If you're going to really trade this thing and you want a tight, really good sniper entry, well, then you got to wait a little while. Okay. If you want to start trickling in, I would do it now. Okay. Start trickling in a little bit now. Talk to your financial advisor. Make sure you can do that. But it looks from a probability standpoint that we have more highs. Okay. I would say by year's end, if not sooner. So keep that in mind. And I actually like silver better than gold. I don't mind gold, okay? But gold's much more expensive, and it hasn't quite retraced as much as silver. So there may be some more retracement in gold versus silver. So keep that in mind. Gold also, look at the indicators at the bottom. All right, we have a green PTF, strong wave 3. So after wave 3, you have wave 4, and then you have wave 5. I would wait for wave 4 on gold. I think you're getting that wave 4 now in silver better. Okay, so that's why I'm doing that one, recommending that one to trickle in. This one probably wait a little bit. Okay, all right, let's get going. Let's see what you guys got for me today. All right, Ed's the first one up, I believe. And again, if I go through all these and we're kind of wrapping it up at the end, and I missed yours, just let me know, okay? Because there's a lot of them that come in that I may miss. All right, LUMN. Let's take a look here. All right, potential longs. Okay. All right, PTFs are going in the right direction. We've had a nice move down, bounce off. We've got a fair value gap that was respected. Here's what makes these gaps kind of tough, all right? Notice we got a bearish one here. This is a bearish fair value gap. And we have a bullish one here. So I kind of need this to have this breakout of this one up here before I can really say, okay, it looks super, super good. Because, we may bounce back into this. We didn't really go deep into this fair value gap. So you may go back down to $7 and we're at $8.13. So that's pretty significant before it moves up. Again, if you don't really care about that and you want to start trickling in, okay, that's fine because you'll probably get above the 12 mark up here thanks to the PTF. So I think probably it's pretty good. And this is a nice long wick here, but this is holding me back here. So I would put this one on a watch list. Okay. If you want to take it, certainly can. You got to put your stop at the bottom. It's got to go under the first bar of the fair value gap that was formed. Okay. So that first bar, you always got to put your stop under that. Don't put it under this bar. All right. Can't tell you how many times it took me to learn this thing. I'd always put it under here and I'd get stopped out by a tick and it would take off on me. So put it under here. If it goes under here, that's a change in structure. You don't want to be there anymore. Okay. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. All right. LAAB. All right. So let's see what's going on with this one. All right. This one's still coming down. We should find support. We're starting to see rejection on this fair value gap here. So look, see these colors here, these green colors, if you're new here, these are all what they call fair value gaps. When they're red, they're bearish. So that kind of thing, okay? So there's a indicator actually on NinjaTrader that draws those in. I also have purchased a couple that I have that by a third party that's really good, Kasian, and it's on my website if you want the link for that. And I use those for day trading as well. But for doing this, I find these are just fine. Okay, and this is a free indicator in NinjaTrader. I don't know if TradeStation has it. If anybody uses TradeStation and you know they have added that, let us know. Okay. All right. So here's exactly what the issue is. You see, we had one here. I just want to show you this on the weekly chart. Remember that other stock we looked at, LUMN, just a minute ago, and we were in between fair value gaps. Okay. Look what happened. Okay. So when you're in between, it's a range and you got to wait for a breakout. And this broke out lower. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to go all the way down, but that's what it did. Now, why did it do that? Well, it may have had a ton of liquidity, sell side liquidity here that it wanted to tap. It did not go below the order block here, or actually the one bar here, order blocks down here. 1, 2, 3. So that held. We'll see if it does. That held there. So you don't want to go long until we get a reversal off this. Okay, not quite yet. All right, Ed, thank you. All right, Jim Blue. Hello, Jim Blue. How are you? GBTC. Let's see what we got on GBTC. For those that don't know, that is the ETF for Bitcoin. All right. You know, I forgot to show the Bitcoin chart. So I should go back and do that after that if I can find it. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Give me 1 second, okay? Hold on a second. I've got the Bitcoin chart someplace, and I'm going to bring it up after this. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, boy, I don't have it. Okay, hold on. Yeah, well, let's see. It's got to be around here someplace. Okay. I guess you're going to have to be on the MOR service to get that because I can't find it. But anyway, it'll be the same for this. Again, if you are a long-term investor in Bitcoin, all right, you can trickle in here. If you're trading it, I would wait. And the reason for this is we have a red PTF, and we still have a red PTF on Bitcoin too. So I think another low is coming on Bitcoin and GBTC. So I would hold off. Now, again, depends on your mindset. If you're trading, you definitely don't want to buy here. Okay? If you're investing and you're somebody like Warren Buffett that always doesn't catch the bottom, but he knows a year from now things will be great, then you can start trickling in here. So it's a different mindset. All right. Last week, I forgot, but somebody brought up a very good point. He goes, well, Ben, why are you recommending it here if we have a red PTF? And it's that different mindset. Okay. Investments, sometimes you trickle in. Sometimes the PTF is wrong. Okay. It's not right 100% of the time. It is right 75% of the time. So you do give it value. But the thing is that what if it's a 25% time and you missed a great buying opportunity? So, from a long-term standpoint, and you wouldn't have mind getting in at 53, even though it might have gone to 45. You know what I'm saying? So it's that type of thought process. So I think Bitcoin, if you can start trickling in here, kind of like silver from a long-term standpoint, I think you'll be happy by the end of the year. But I think in the next maybe week, 2 or month, you may not be. Okay. So you got to kind of assess what your plans are. But in any case, it's kind of in a range right now. So, the nice thing is you can wait we don't have a new trend up yet, right? So it's still down. But if you wait for a breakout and you want to go in there, that's fine. But if you want to wait for another move down and then a turnaround, that's fine too. Okay. But I love the retracement on Bitcoin. It's giving all of us an opportunity to get in. All right. The thing is, I just don't think the retracement's quite done yet. Hopefully that's clear. All right. Thank you, Jim. All right. If put it this way, if you own Bitcoin and you haven't sold it yet, I wouldn't sell it. Okay. If you are looking to buy it, maybe trickle in, maybe wait a little bit until that PTF turns yellow. All right, Ed, back to you. ARM. And of course, always do it with money you can afford to risk. I mean, that's super important. Bitcoin's pretty volatile. In fact, a lot of the stocks in this market are. Okay, so let's see, potential long. All right. So on the weekly chart, we're butting up against a bearish PTF. We have green PTF here. All right. So eventually we should break out. Let's see. This is looking pretty bullish over here. I like that setup. I don't like this. So here's what I would do on this. Let's see, you got two fair value gaps here. We have a little bit of a pullback here. You did break structure here. I like that. And you did sweep the low here. All right. So you have three beautiful things on the daily chart. The ICT silver bullet down here, which is a sweep of equity on the sell side. Not a very good S. Okay. Sell side. You have a break and change in structure. All right. And what I'd like to almost see is something like that. So you got a couple things you could wait for. You could wait for a further break above here and get above this fair value gap. I would like that. You did get above, you did invert these fair value gaps. That's bullish. All right. So the question is, are we going to turn here on this fair value gap and then head back up? I think we are. Okay. But this bearish fair value gap is a problem over here, because we could certainly just make a new low, take out this equity down here, and then reverse. So if you're a trader and you see rejection off here and you want to take it, you got to put your stop down below the first bar of that. 1, 2, 3, and then go. Okay. But the daily chart's beautiful. All right. I really like that. The weekly chart is what's causing me a problem. So I'm going to put this on the watch list, but this is one of the best ones on the watch list so far. And we just got to get above 134. So another 10 points to the upside, closing above this. And I would be looking to that. Also, we have a bearish pyramid still in control there. Okay. So be a little careful. I love the silver bullet down here. It's looking good. We just got to get above that bearish fair value gap. All right. Thank you. Good job, Ed. All right. Kumar. All right. Looking to go long on Lulu. L-U-L-U. Give me a thumbs up if this type of analysis helped you. Okay. I'd like to get some feedback on that. Am I going into too much detail, or is this okay? All right. So let's see what we got. Looking to go long. All right, not quite yet. All right. And I say that simply because here you disrespected this little fair value gap. Okay. And now there's no reason to go long here. Okay. I know this is green. That's fine. But we got to wait for the retracement. Don't forget, the PTFs tell you the probabilities of a high getting taken out. What it doesn't tell you is when and how much of a retracement you're going to have before that happens. So that's the only thing. It looks to me, okay, like it liked this move up here, which was this, and that broke structure. We're right back down into here. Now you got a pretty nice fair value gap here on the weekly. You see that? And so far, we don't have a close below it. If you get a close below that, all right, then chances of taking this out are pretty high. I would hold off on this one, okay? Let's see if we get some bullish. Let's see. Well, first of all, let's take out the high of this before we even think about a long trade here. And then next week we can look at it and see if there are some better points that formed or were engineered to take out. Okay. So no go on that one, Kumar. All right. LMT. Okay. I wish you asked me this about a month ago. This is good. We're reaching all-time highs. We just had a yellow PTF turn here. Okay, so it's no longer green, which means it's neutral. It's not bad. It just means that market did what it was supposed to do. We still have green here, and we're making highs. So I think what I would do is I wouldn't chase this market. Okay. for right now, I'd wait for a pullback. Okay. And this is a very strong move up. This is institutional order flow here. I would say, you know, that's a pretty strong move back up. I imagine you're going to go higher. So it all depends if you're a scalper or something more long term. So at this particular point, I would just wait for a pullback. I wouldn't chase it. Because look, on the weekly chart, if that history is right, there's not much history. So I can't even tell you where it's going in terms of previous highs and so forth. So that makes it difficult right there. So I would wait for the pullback. All right. And just draw some fibs between here and here. Okay. All right. MU. Let's take a look here. Okay, very strong move up. All right, we have a little bit of a pullback. And my question to you is, Kumar, you seem to find stocks that have already gone up a lot. Since 2026, okay, right here in December, all right, we've gone from 277 to 407. If we go back here to April 18th, okay, it's look how much it's gone up, okay? So it kind of seems like you're finding these stocks. I don't know what service you're using, but past performance doesn't guarantee future performance, and we're kind of a little late in it. To me, it feels like I'm chasing this market if I was to go in. All right, I'd wait for the pullback on this one too. So be careful about that, okay? And then let's take a look at AMD. Okay, on AMD green PTFs, we disrespected this bullish fair value gap. We respected this. We're probably going to take this low out here. So no go on that. We have a very nice bullish one here, but we've got to get this daily chart turned around. Okay, so no go on that one. All right, thank you. All right, potential long from Ed here on NTLA. NTLA. Okay. All right. So this one we sold off. We had a nice spike up that created two green PTFs. We're butting up against a hell of a gap here. Okay. Right here. We've got green owls. We had some green pyramids here. Okay. This gap bothers me a little bit here. Kind of went into it and sold off. I'm not saying no, but I don't like that gap. Okay. Seems like it's starting to recover from that. But we haven't gotten a lot of follow through to the upside because we had this move up and then it pulled back. Let's take a look at this next week. Okay. NTLA bring back for next week. It needs to prove itself a little bit. All right. EBS. I think I might have missed one of yours, Ed. ARM. I'll do that next. All right. On this one here, green PTF on the daily, no longer on that one. And we still got to move down. We might find support here on the weekly fair value gap. But again, if you drew a trend line here, you're still going down. So let's see if we get a reversal. And so far, I don't know if you can see that there at home, but so far we have respected this bearish fair value gap, and we have one bearish pyramid. So put this one, bring this one back at some point, okay? All right, let me just, I think I missed ARM. Let me do ARM here, ARM. Nope, we got this one. Okay, Stuart, let's see, WMT, Walmart. looking to take profits, Stu says, on Walmart and Merck. All right. Do not go long on this if you're new. In other words, don't chase it. But Stuart, if you are there, okay, higher highs are coming. You may get a pullback before that. So you have to ask yourself how much of a long-term investor, because I'm sure this is a long-term one for you. You have a new fair value gap that just was created here, okay, on the weekly chart. Don't know if you can see it. When this week ends, my system will draw green there, okay? You've got one here that was respected. I would put your stop. The only place you could survive any pullback into these fair value gaps is a stop probably here or even here, all right? And that's given back quite a bit. That's 115 to 110. So you have to make a decision on this. You know, how much do you want to give back on a pullback to still stay with the uptrend? That's always the $1 million question, right? So you could put a stop here, all right? And if you're dying to get out, you get out there, or you can get out a half or a third here, all right? And buy that half and third back when the correction is over, because it'll eventually come, but it's not there yet. All right. And who knows? Maybe it won't get hit. Maybe next week we'll be saying, where should the stop be now? Because this thing could be going up still. All right. So that's kind of what I would do on that. Any target zones to sell into. Here's the hard part, right? Okay. You're probably already at a target zone, but it doesn't mean it can't go higher. There's no previous ones here. The only thing we could do is draw a fib extension maybe on this bad boy. And we're still in wave 3. So, you know, but let's see if we can get a smaller, this would be like a waves within a wave. So this would be a 3, 4, 5 of 3. Okay, that type of thing. And let's see if I drew it correctly somewhere right around there. So you're already in the target. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but you know, you're already there. So I would do what I told you to do on that. Okay. And it's up to you. All right. But that would be my suggestion. All right. And that is that. Let's see about Merck. All right. Merck is really moving. Okay. Green PTFs, you have everything for a trend in place. You know, you got a pyramid here. So again, if you wanted to do that, well, I'll get out of a third or a half, whatever you want to do if it goes below this. Any correction should be followed by more highs. So then the question becomes, once again, how much do you want to hold during a correction? Okay. But yeah, more highs are coming. In fact, I would say it's a pretty good shot you may get up into this area here. But, you know, you could get a correction down to 105 at some point. So you got to decide what you want to do with that. You could also simply draw a trend line, you know. You can put one up here, okay, just like that. And if it breaks the trend line, take a little off the table. Go out to dinner, buy a new car, do something fun like that. All right, that's Merck. All right, Ed's back with RKLB. RKLB. Ooh, sweet. Okay. Green PTF on the weekly. Good. Huge wave 3 owl on the weekly. Good. Pullback. Good. We're hitting here, fair value gap. Now, what I've noticed, at least on some of the indexes, I can't speak for everything, but I can certainly say what I've noticed. I have found that usually you have 3 times that you go into the fair value gap. We've gone twice. And then you still have a bearish one here. So my feeling is you might go one more time down into consequence encroachment on this. Okay. Or it could spike down into the order block here. So this is the order block. I'll just draw that out. All right, prices should not go below that. Okay, so you should be okay for that. But I think they're probably going to maybe dip again and go into possibly that area. I mean, this is a huge situation going on here. I mean, you really gnawed into this thing good. All right. So you look, you're right at consequence encroachment now. Okay. Actually, it's not drawn correctly. Give me a second. That's kind of what I want to do. Okay. So you're kind of there now. All right. So I kind of think I would, on this one, I would watch that reaction on the fair value gaps. I know you've taken my course, so you know what that means. And you are getting rejection off this fair value gap. Not unusual to go a little bit lower into this fair value gap. If it bounces and goes above here and then goes above here, well, then you have a change in structure. So don't go long until you get above here at least. Okay. Now, if it goes above here and you want to go long, you got to put your stop down here because you don't know how much further down. That's the problem. If you get a break in structure here, you can put your stop here. Okay. All right. So that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm liking it. I would love to recommend it, except for the fact that fair value gap. So I'm going to put this one under next week to look at. Okay. RKLB. Please bring that back. So that goes on the watch list. All right. Constance, how are you? Okay. Intended to buy, but missed them when they were lower. Okay. LYB. Don't you hate that? All right. Still not too late to get in. And I'll tell you why, because you're still below, you're still in the discount area. Okay. On the weekly chart. So that's a good thing. All right. It's gone up a lot on the daily. Might get a pullback at some point. I love the fact that this was respected here and created another fair value gap on the weekly. You got a pyramid at the bottom. We took out the last of that pyramid. Okay. So I'm actually thinking this looks pretty good. Okay. Now here's what I would do. You can go long. All right. For me personally, all right, we've got a fairly, it looks like a wave 3 owl, but it's really not. Okay, it's a wave 3 maybe inside of this, but compared to this owl down here, this was the old wave 3. So, but we haven't gone below that. So that's kind of, okay, a little bit. So I still like this for a long. All right, I put on the weekly chart, I would put my first partial. This is a partial TP, take profit, right? Right here at 70. Okay. I'd move my stop at that point up. We'll have to take a look at it and see. You can put your stop for now below this area here. Okay. Now let me blow all that up. Okay. If I can get that to show nice and big. Okay. All right. So little rejection off here. I'm not really worried about that one. Your stop for now has got to go here. Okay. Should not go below that. If it does, then that's probably we're going to take the bottom out. Okay. So that should hold. And we got a fair value gap here. We have a institutional bullish order flow here. Okay, they actually call that an institutional order flow drill. So you have a move off that. So you should be pretty bullish here. Okay, and you can see the bullishness. Doesn't mean you're not going to get a retracement, but any retracement should be short-lived, especially with the new fair value gap here. I don't even think it'll go below here ever on this next trend up. So that should give you confidence to be there. And you can go long here, stop down at 46. All right. I know the stop is far away, but this is a pretty bullish scenario that would warrant a buy. Okay. All right. So that one I'm going to put here LYB as a buy. Okay. Let's take a look at the Dow. All right. Same thing on the down. Look at that. And again, the first thing you want to do when you take a look at this stuff is grab, well, I already did it over here, but you can do it over here too. But grab your fibs, swing high to swing low. As long as you're buying in this area or this area, you're okay. That's called the discount area. You don't want to be buying above that if you can help it. All right, so the ideal entry here would have been right here. Rejection, institutional order flow, bullish drill here, and it's off to the races, okay? First partial should be here. We're taking profits here, partial, TP, and the target is up here. You could even take a partial here, okay? So I think that looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to put that one down as a buy too. All right, thank you. Excellent. All right, Ed, thank you. Just want to make sure I'm not going too much into detail. All right, Kumar, okay. Just recall that I entered LNT more than a week ago, bought 655 calls expiring Friday. So let's go back in LNT. Okay, so you bought calls. Good. Expiring Friday. Okay. Next Friday. Okay. Well, you know, you can hold those. And if you see prices coming back down, dump it. I wouldn't renew it. I wouldn't roll it over. Take the profit and wait for a pullback. Okay. Yep, I saw that. Thanks, Ed. All right, Kumar. Okay, on the watch list for going long in INTU. That's not Intel. That's Intuit. QuickBooks. All right, let's see what we got. Boy, must not be doing too good. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, keep it on the watch list, but not yet. Red PTFs on both time frames. Now, when you see something like this and you get a retracement up here, you can go short, but I'm not going to recommend that for you guys. All right, PLTR. Not ready yet. Might come down a little further. Let's just run a couple fibs and see what's going on here. So I'm going to run it. I'm going to run it from here to here. Okay. That probably should be more like here. Give me a second. Yeah. All right. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come into this PD array here. Okay. Fair value gap here. So hold off. Okay. And just look at the, you know, again, if you're using the art software and you've taken the course I have on price action, do you see, when you see this, you have bearish pyramids and bearish fair value gaps that are rejected. Doesn't get any better than that for a short trade, right? Anyway, don't go long here. Okay, give it a little time. All right, that's PLTR. Adobe. All right, on Adobe, let's see what we got cooking back here. The other fun thing you guys can try to do is take all indicators off the chart, every single one, except for, and then draw in the fair value gaps yourself and see how price reacts. Some will work and some won't. And find out when they don't work, why. And it's usually because of a higher time frame issue. All right, so back to this. All right, pyramids are all down. Keep bringing these back, Kumar, because you just took out equity here, but it didn't stop there, did it? So obviously it's going down. Okay, just took out this sell sign. Let's just take a look at this. Forget this part of the chart for a minute. Let's see if we can get rid of it. Yeah, okay. If you were trading this long-term trend, where would you put your stop? Well, you probably put it here. Maybe move it up here. Here. These are all sell-side liquidities. And that just means there's a lot of stops there. Okay. So, okay, that's interesting. All right. The die hard, this went up. All right. Changed, came out, went down. This held. So where do you think the stops are now? If this held, they're here and here. Okay. And let's see now. Looky there. That was the target. So on this entire move down, the pyramids don't give you a target, but Fibs, Elliott wave, and sell-side liquidity or buy-side liquidity does. So that's a target hit. Now we got to wait and see if we get rejection. We have one bearish fair value gap here. Again, this is how you can use it along with the software. And we have a bearish PTF here. So let's see if we get one more move down. If the move sweeps this new low and turns up, that's a silver bullet. And it may be a silver bullet now, but I don't like the red PTF. Hasn't turned yet enough. If it dramatically takes this bottom out, I mean dramatically, and doesn't pivot after this and keeps going, then this is the target. This is where they're shooting. And when I say they, the institutions, okay? They need a lot of liquidity for their positions. So they may be targeting this because that is a key area too. So that's how you can use our software along with, these are called ICT concepts, smart money concepts, price action, whatever you want to call it, okay? But the software on the daily chart saying that probably more low. So I'd be skeptical of going long. It would have to really reject, create some good fair value gaps on the weekly chart before I'd consider a long. All right, hopefully that helps. All right, let's see, ADSK. All right, so that's still heading down too. Took out equity here and here. Major equity here, but we have fairly good here, but still a red PTF. So, all right, hold off on this, okay? Let's see on the daily chart if there's any areas. We took out this. We got one way down here. So again, like the other one, we'd have to see a good rebound on this, okay? So no go on that one right now. All right, I think I got them all. All right, thanks, Kumar. All right, Zen Trader. Hello, Zen Trader. Okay, Amazon. See what we got there. All right, Amazon. Let's see what we got cooking for Amazon. All right. Fair value gap here, red PTF here. So we'll see what, it's pretty bearish, okay? This one here. So this is more of a gap. It's kind of interesting. And we have a very strong, after this week, the system will draw in a bearish fair value gap here and here. I think this is going to get disrespected. Probably heading down into this area. So no go on that one, okay? Don't do that one. HD. See what's going on in Home Depot. My wife hasn't been shopping there this week, so I imagine it's going down. All right, so let's see what we got going on here. All right, we're hitting a bearish PDA array up here. Got a nice bullish turnaround. Okay, so let's just see what we got here. took out this equity, this equity, this equity here. We came up here. We had a change in structure. Nice low into the order block there. Low there. Okay. So here's the thing. All right. That is a fairly significant PD array on the weekly chart. And that just means fair value gap. Okay. I want to see if it disrespects that or respects that. Because really on the weekly chart, you're kind of in a range. Okay. And I have to be honest with you, when you get into a range, don't trade the fair value gaps. Okay. It's a nightmare. Okay. Wait for something to bottom and really turn around and begin to trend. If you've had a big trend and it goes into a range and you try to trade fair value gaps, it's like trading the pyramids inside the range. Forget about it. Okay. It's a difficult area to do that. You need to switch hats and just trade the outsides of the channel, okay, the range. So it's kind of difficult. All right. So I would stay away from that one. Okay. All right, let's see. MP. I've lost more money trading fair value gaps. I learned my lesson trading fair value gaps and ranges. All right, so we got some good stability here on this one. I like that. You have rejection here. Again, you see you're smack in between two types of fair value gaps on the weekly chart. And you're going to get another one. No, you're not. You just got this one here. This is good. This is not. This is respected. This is respected. So I wouldn't do anything in this. Not what we call an A+ setup. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, on this one, we do not have a bearish fair value gap. Green PTF, huge wick over here, okay? You're still technically moving down because if you drew a trend line, look. But the fact is, if we get some rejection here and it starts to move back up, then that would be a good one. So let's put this on a watch list. Do you see the difference between this one and the other one? There's no bearish PTF on the weekly chart. All right, let's take a look at the next one, USAR. All right, so again, moving down. And just draw your trend line, okay? And you got the current action. All right, we have green PTF, so we're expecting a bullish move after this move down. We're getting slight rejection off the fair value gap here. All right, we had nice reaction here. So let's just focus on the daily chart now, okay, for a minute. We have nothing really on the weekly chart that's going to stop us from going long, right? There's no bearish fair value gap. This one was bearish, but they blew right by it. So I'm not worried about that. All right, so where is institutional accumulation? Right here. Okay, where's an order block? Right here. Where's another order block? Probably in this area here. Let me just say. So based on this, if they take that out, in other words, don't go long yet, but if they take that out, then we're going to see how far they dig into this fair value gap. And so that shouldn't go below there, not unless it's a change in trend. It shouldn't really go below here. But I'd have to see a turnaround and a new fair value gap to the upside. Otherwise, you're just picking bottoms. So if you buy here, you're just hoping that's the bottom. All right. If it gets here in rejection, that's okay. But you know what? If the institutions are behind that, they're going to throw everything they got into the next price bar or next series of price bars, and you're going to get a fair value gap. That's what I want to look for. Then institutional order flow bullish and then go. Okay. So that kind of thing. By then you'll probably have a pyramid too. So that's what you want to wait for in that. So put this on a watch list. All right, let's keep going here. Constants, PPG. All right, watch list. Let's just keep watching that one, okay? That I don't want to. It's going higher probably, but you know, again, I feel like I'm chasing the market here, and we missed the best opportunity to get in. And you had all this institutional order flow here, not really here, but basically here and here. Okay. So I would, and again, you know, okay, let's say we're going to move up. Our first major areas here and here. I would wait for a pullback. Okay. So let me just draw this in. Major high, major low. So you're above the 50% mark here. And let's just redo that, draw another one. You're just approaching it. So I kind of would wait for a pullback and then we'll take a look at it again. So I wouldn't chase it. Let's wait for a pullback into one of these fair value gaps. ConAgra, CAG. Yeah, you can keep those on the watch list. That's good. All right. Nice move down on ConAgra. Let me just check my stuff here. 4,000 days. Okay. All right. Move off the bottom. No red PTFs anymore. Let's see if this move off the bottom. Let me just put a little more down here. What I'm looking for is sell side liquidity. Look, bingo. Sell side liquidity right there. Okay. Wow, from a long time ago too. Okay, so we took that. And now looky what formed. Our first clue that the institutions are behind it. Fair value gap. Okay. So that's kind of sweet there. We're trying to get rejection. We need rejection off here. We had a beautiful rejection there. Beautiful rejection there. So I'm thinking this is looking really good. If you wanted to wait until you got, this pyramid is no longer valid. So if you wanted to wait until you got above here, the only thing you're kind of lacking here a little bit, you got a little bit of change in structure, but it didn't close. So one of the rules I look for is if I'm going to go long, I've got a downtrend, I need to have internal change in structure and external change in structure. Okay. So we really need to close above here for any type of external structure change. So wait until we close above here. It's close. Okay. You might even get it next week. All right. So God, I'd like to put that as a buy, but I kind of want to wait for that. So I got to put ConAgra with a star, okay, on the watch list. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. ALB. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. So nice move up in here, here. Starting to see some rejection here. All right, I think you're at least probably, you're going to get probably a pullback here, but I think the target is going to be 248 as a first take target place here at 166. So that's a nice move up from here. All right, now you got rejection off this. So again, you're kind of in between. That was big rejection off that. And now you have, we got to wait and get above here, 183. If we don't get above 183, then it's going to go into a wave 4. And then at that point here, you're looking probably, let me just make sure. Yeah. Okay, so you're probably looking at a correction down into this area. So I think I'd hold off a little bit, okay, on this one. But I do think the bottom's in. All right, I just think you could get a correction. And that's ALB, okay? All right. Zen Trader is back. CVX. All right. Let's see what we got here. Watching. Okay, keep watching. We'll watch it go up together. All right, so green PTFs, all fair value gaps respected. Now notice how, this is what I'm talking about. Notice how you had a big fair value gap here, bearish. Disrespected. That's a go. Okay, that's what you want to see. All right. My own problem here, of course, is that we had to wait for a long time for that to happen. So 170 here, institutional order flow drill here, bullish. All right, so you have a bearish turnaround there. Let's just see if there's any equity taken. Yeah, I think they're probably shooting for up here. Okay, let's just take a look and see here what's going on, okay? All right, so where was the bearish equity? It was right there. I mean, the sell side equity right there, okay? So look at this move down, just removing and destroying all the sell side equity. And lo and behold, look what happens. If you had your stop here and you were long here and you just kept it here thinking we were going to go high, they just grabbed your stops. And then they said, thank you very much. And off to the races we go. All right. So that is an absolutely silver bullet right there. Now, unfortunately, what's our PTF? Red. So it was wrong. Okay. And it changed green here. So you could have gone in here. Okay. So you had a nice ABC pullback here. All right. And let's just see. Then you had your first fair value gap here. Order institution, buy drill here. All right. So actually this pyramid did a great job getting you in there. Okay. If you didn't have, if you didn't understand institutional order flow, you would have missed this, but you would have gotten in here. So I'm a little skeptical of putting you into this. I think it's going to come up here and it's either going to take off, continue higher, or it's going to pull back. And I would wait for the pullback and then we'll take a look at it. So let's look at that. Let's see what happens when it takes equity. I'll probably maybe do it next week. And let's see what it does. It's either going to pull back or take off. I'm hoping it'll pull back and give you a chance to get in. All right, so no go on that yet. BI, bearish PTF, bearish order flow, bullish order flow here. Okay, PTF's been red, but we do have so far a valid bearish fair value gap. So we got to wait and see how that resolves itself. So bring this one back next week. All right, Intel. Okay, green PTF. So far respecting the fair value gap there. Got a bearish, no, you don't have, what is that one? It's a longer time frame. Okay, so we're good there, good there. All right, so I want to see a little more follow through on this rejection. Let me just see if this wick took out. Oh, shoot. Okay. See, that's the only concern I have, is that usually when you took out buy side equity here, doesn't mean it can't go higher, because it could be shooting, they could be targeting here. Okay, without a doubt. But usually get a pullback on something like this. So I would say, and notice here, let me just see what kind of, sometimes wicks act like fair. So you got a respect of consequent encroachment on that wick. All right, you got to get a high above that. So we have to have rejection off this. So just wait a little bit, okay? If you take out this high here, you can go long. 51 above the high here, whatever that is. It's 51.22. 51.49. So 51.49. So 51.50. All right. And you can go long on that. Otherwise, wait. Okay. You got rejection here. You have a bearish situation here. And you have that respected perfectly on the wick. So there's just a few bit of headwinds that make me want to hold off on that. Okay. Sorry. All right. Cisco. ESCO. All right, we're just going to do one more set and we're going to wrap it up. Okay. All right. So Cisco came back down, big reversal. So let's see if it did respect this order block here. Even went below it. So maybe, okay, so any stops here would have been hit. Give me a second. All right, hold off on that one. You're long at 72. Okay, so you're long here. Well, look, if this is going to go ahead and retrace and go back up from here, this pyramid stop, which is where your stop is, should hold, because that's right. That identified the order block perfectly. Okay. So that should hold. If that gets taken out, then probably we're going down further. Okay. So nothing, get out of the break-even trade. Alexander, I know who you are. You're a Zen trader. Okay, let's see. All right, Kumar. All right, buddy. Thank you. I hit the like button. Appreciate that. Everybody, please do that because it helps the channel. We're trying to grow the channel, But I'm not really a comedian. I'm not really one of these influencers that's, funny or anything. So it takes me a little longer to grow my channel than the other folks. I try to be real though. I will tell you, I don't try to sell anything really. And I'm just trying to give you good information on a weekly basis with this, but it helps to grow the channel. So I appreciate that. All right. So what do you think? Time to hit it? I think we're done here. Let me go over. We only got 2 winners today. Okay. So let me just quickly go over all this stuff for you. All right. So LYB is one that we like, and DOW, DOW. And Constance, I think, okay, that is yours, if I'm not mistaken. So good job. All right. On the watch list, we got a lot. So bring these back, guys. If you're one of the people that basically requested the lookup on these, bring it back next week, okay? LUMN, ARM, NTLA, RKLB, CRA, MLUSAR, Conagra with a star. All right. And then CU. Okay. So both CUX, I think. All right. So if I can read my handwriting correctly. All right. So that is it for this week. I want to thank everybody for coming. Don't forget, tomorrow we have the Saturday workshop. All right. So we'll cover something for about half an hour, 40 minutes. It's educational. I do that every month. So that's tomorrow. Don't forget about that. And that'll be here on YouTube. So no biggie there. And hey, guys, gals, thank you very much. All right, for coming. Thanks for the likes. And I'll put a little music on and we'll see you next week for sure. Okay.